Welcome back, class 10. Today we will start chapter 2, the Union Executive. The Union Executive in this chapter will learn about the President of India and the Vice President of India. Our Constitution creates an office of the President. So in our Constitution there is a office for the President. That means there is a role. The President has got a role. Who is the President? The President is the head of the executive. He is also the head of the state and the first citizen of our country. But remember, in India, the form of the government is not presidential form of government. Okay? Qualifications. Number 1, he has to be a citizen of India. Number 2, has completed the age of 35 years. Number 3, qualified to become a member of the Lok Sabha. Moreover, a candidate for presidential election should not hold an office of profit under any government of India or any government of state. So he should not be working under any government office or government organization. Now, however, a person is not deemed to hold an office of profit in case he is president or vice president or governor or a minister either of the union or of any state. Okay, now term of office. The president holds office for a term of 5 years, and obviously he is eligible for re-election. He may, by writing to the Vice President, resign from his office. The resignation has to be communicated to the Vice President. Obviously, the Vice President will get, and the Vice President will communicate the resignation to the Speaker. Finished? Good. Now, what is impeachment? A question often is asked. Name the method by which the president can be removed. 1 mark question. So the name of the method by which the president can be removed is impeachment. Impeachment. The president can be removed from the office for violation of the Constitution by impeachment. The resolution to impeach the president may be moved in either house of the parliament. It must be passed by 2/3 of the total membership of the house. If 2/3 of the total membership passes the resolution which says or states that the president has to be removed, if the resolution is passed, the president will have to leave his office. But it is not as simple as it is said. It must be passed by 2/3 of the total membership of the House, number 1. Then the charges are investigated by the House. The President has the right to appear in person in order to answer the charges. He also has the right to defend by a counsel. If the charges are sustained by a 2/3 vote in the other House as well, the impeachment succeeds. So it is not a very simple game that the resolution is passed and the president will walk away from his office. No, not that simple. It has to be passed, it has to be investigated. The president can appear in person. He has the right to defend himself. Doing all these things, if still the impeachment is retained and it is passed by 2/3, then he has to resign. Vacancy means empty. vacancy in the office of the president. The presidential office may fall vacant, means empty, due to certain reasons. Number one, expiration of the term. The term has expired, the president has left. By reason of death, the president, poor fellow, has died. Or by reason of resignation, he has resigned. Or by impeachment. So there are four reasons: expiration of the date of the term, reason for death, resignation, and impeachment. If suppose the term has expired, okay, the president remains in his office till his successor enters upon the office. Till the new president comes and enters the office, the former president remains in the office. It is not that the president's term has finished, he walks away. So for a certain period, India is without any president. No, not like that. If the term of office has expired, the president remains in the office till his or her successor comes. Emoluments means payments. The president is entitled to use of a furnished residence known as the president's house, Rashtrapati Bhavan. What a furnished residence it is. Okay, anyway, without payment of rent, obviously. Emoluments and allowances of the president as is determined by the office. In 2008, the salary of the president has been raised to 1,50,000 rupees per month, and after he retires, he will get a pension of 75,000 per month. Okay. Now, procedure for election of the president. The president is the head of the Indian Union. Presidential power extends both to the union government as well as the state government. Therefore, presidential election, not only MPs but MLAs also have a voice. Not only MPs, MLAs of each state has also got a voice. How it is done? Number one, indirect election of the President of India. Okay. The President is elected indirectly, not through direct election. We don't vote for election of President. We never vote for that. Can you recall that we have ever voted for the election of President? We never vote for the election of President. In other words, ordinary citizens like us play no part in the election. They have no part in the election at all. A few members of the Constituent Assembly wanted the president to be elected directly, but the proposal was not found not feasible. So what are the steps? First, the power. Why? What are the steps? Means why direct election is not possible. Question can come. Number one, the power really resided in the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister and the Union Parliament, and not the President as such. Therefore, it would be anomaly means irony, if the President is elected directly by the people and is not given any real power. See, what happens is, in India, the President is a puppet. He does not have any real function in the Lok Sabha. So, what is the need of the people electing the president? It is not America where the president is the leader. So, the people don't elect the president because the president has not got real powers. Secondly, the persons or the framers of the Constitution wanted the president to remain quiet and in a dignified way. Number three, it would be difficult to provide an electoral machinery for an election in which millions of people would have to participate. As it is in general election, there is a lot of chaos, as we are all aware of, for the election, general election. And if there is again one election for the president, then the chaos will be doubled, and this is utter waste of money because the president does not take any active part. So why involve the citizens? And then direct election would place too much power in the hands of the masses and a very high percentage of illiterates among them. Okay, it is not it's a very debatable point. Anyway, a question is often asked about electoral college. Electoral college means the members who elect the president. So just remember, the president is elected by the members of an electoral college. And who are the members of the electoral college? Question is asked. The electoral college consists of the elected members of the both houses of the parliament, the elected members of the legislative assemblies. Okay. The number of votes in which elected MP or MLA is entitled to cast shall be determined how? The value of the vote of each member of state legislature is determined by dividing the population of the state concerned by the total number of elected members of the assembly. And secondly, each elected member of the parliament shall have such number of votes as may be obtained by dividing the total number of votes assigned to MLAs by the states by the total number of elected members of the parliament. So this is the manner. Manner is not asked. The question is asked, what do you mean by electoral college and the members of the electoral college? What constitutes the electoral college? Number one, electoral college consists of number one, elected members of the both houses of the parliament, and number two, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the state, MLA. Understood? Okay. In the next class, we will discuss about the positions and powers of the president. Just in a nutshell, before we proceed to our next class, the president has got lot of powers. Although he might not take part actively, but he is not a powerless puppet. Often if it is misunderstood. The president has got some executive powers, he has got military powers, he has got legislative powers, he has got financial powers, judicial powers, emergency powers, and discretionary powers. In your exam, questions from the powers, president's powers, is often asked. So, you have to memorize all the powers. Today, we can go through the executive powers. The Constitution says that the president should have some executive powers. For example, the powers are: he is the head of the Union Executive. All executive orders are issued in the name of the president. Number two, formation of the Council of Ministers. The Constitution lays down that the Prime Minister is to be appointed by the President, as we know, and the ministers are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Suppose the President is the letter of, suppose a party wins the general election. The leader of the party will become the Prime Minister. What happens is a request is sent to the President. The President sends an appointment letter to the person who is going to be the Prime Minister, and he becomes the Prime Minister. After a person is chosen as a Prime Minister, he chooses the different ministers who are appointed in different posts in the council, in his council of ministers. He sends a list to the Rashtrapati Bhavan or to the President. President accordingly writes appointment letters to different ministers, that you are the finance minister, you are the education minister, you are health minister, and So who appoints? The president appoints. On whose advice? The prime minister's advice. Remember. Power to appoint and remove high dignitaries of the state. High dignitaries means high positioned officers and ministers. The president appoints, remember, Attorney General of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, judges of Supreme Court and those high courts, governors and ambassadors. The president also appoints the members of the Finance Commission, the Union Public Service Commission, the Chief Election Commissioner and other members of the Election Commission. You should remember all these things. Moreover, the president has the power to remove the ministers, the Attorney General, the governors and some other high dignitaries of the state. Next point is administration of union territories. Very, very important. The Constitution provides that every union territory shall be administered by the president. You should know that union territories in India are administered by the president. The president acts through an administrator which with such designation as president may specify. There are administrators in each union territories who regulates the union territories on behalf of the president. The president cannot be present in all the union territories in India. So he sends an administrator. Okay. Now the last point under executive power is control over state governments. The union government may give necessary direction to the states during president's rule. Only during president's rule. The president has a complete control over the union government over state. Understood? So these are the executive powers of the president. Military power, let me complete. There are only 2 points. The president is the supreme commander of the defense force. That means Army, Navy, Air Force, Defense Force. He is the supreme commander of the defense force. However, the president is required to exercise his powers in accordance with the laws made by the parliament. That is obvious. And the president has the power to declare war and peace. The parliament is competent to give directions to the president as to the exercise of such power. The parliament will direct the president that it is a time to declare war. The president will declare it officially. And the parliament will say it is the time to declare peace. The president will declare it accordingly. The president on his own cannot declare. Okay. So, 2 military powers, supreme commander of the defense force, that is Army, Navy and Air Force combined. And he has the power to declare war and peace according to the instructions given by the parliament. I hope you have understood what I have taught today. Until we meet, thank you.